Okay, I think that's better. I need to figure out what's going on. Like it's just my upload speed just decides to go to 0 randomly, and that sucks. So hopefully this is back. Let me actually check my own connection stream here. Yeah, okay, I can see my stream. So well, let's just hope. Let's hope it doesn't happen again, because oh my god. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Since the ending, I don't know what to do. Let's keep trying this one. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm back. I don't even know. It's fine. Okay. Let me start with this. And then do this. Yeah, there we go. That works. You can get a star out of it. Why not? Okay. 87. 2 is first again. Okay. All these are in the same position. This one's weird. 11 steps. Oh god. Oops. Oh, that's a good point. It might not be all 2s, because these can all go to 1s. Hey, good. Oops. Yeah, I have no idea what happens there. Just my upload speed just goes to 0. I need to like call my internet provider and be like, hey, what's up? I'm paying for this much internet. Please give it to me. Oh, there we go. All right. Was that the intended route? No one knows. But we'll take those. Okay. Hmm. 10 steps. No, not quite. Let's see. We don't have much space to maneuver here. And use 3 steps to get that 3 over there, but not really. There's really not enough space for it. This does make the most sense to me. That doesn't really do much. That's 1 space away from working. Can I use one of the steps I saved in the previous level for this one? Is that how it works? Okay, I think I feel, because I'm so close to this one, I just want to keep trying. I think this is designed to be frustrating. Frustratingly close each time. Okay. Maybe there's a different way I maneuver this in. Like here. And then get this. No. Ah. Because the idea is if I can get this one 3 where I'm standing now, then I can move down, do this. Can I do that? I don't think so. I think that might be impossible with 4 steps. Yeah. Hmm. Ugh. Kind of like doing the same thing over and over. Eventually, something will click in my brain. Move this around here first. And maybe it's just maneuvering this one. Maybe I just have to, like, do something like this. But, like, competently. To do that, I'd have to spin the 3 on the other side there. To do that, I just have to make a 3 on something there. So it's like this. Here it is. Okay, we're back. Alright, we've unlocked the last set. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh my, there's a lot of steps in this one. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't really know what the layout is. I can move. Okay, so I don't have the corner. Okay. It's a kind of a cross in the middle. So with that in mind, 2 is first. If I move... Yeah, I can't move here. Oof. This one, okay. 2 is first means I could probably push 1s at some point. If I were to... I don't even know how to get a single pair with this layout. Even a single pair would help me right now. Which, okay, if I do this here, and then do that here, that gives me my single pair. Let's try that again, what I just did there. Oof. This makes no sense to me. I somehow moved that other dice. To here. Which I don't think is possible. Not with the layout I'm doing. Oh. Like that. Okay, no, that... To get that one, I had to place this here. No. Let's skip that one for now. We have a similar issue here with the 4s. But a much smaller space. Okay. I have to move the 3s a minimum of 2 times each. Just math-wise. So we'll do this. That like here. Perfect. Nailed it. Ignore the fact I died. But maybe that feels nice. I like how that feels. So it must be something like that. If that makes sense. It's a certain vibe. Instead of moving this here, I would move this there. Which is way more difficult to do. But if I do like something like this... But then I also have to move that one out. So I just have to, like, do that. Yeah, so all 3 at once. Okay, there we go. Okay. 91. 3 is first. Okay, so these ones are all 1 step away from 3s. So something like this. Okay, no. Oops. I didn't have enough... I have very little steps in this one, actually. Oh my goodness. Like, if I had 1 more step, I could move this to the side and move that one down, but I don't. So, what do I do instead? I could get off and push. Then... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, no, I think... I'm probably wrong here. No, because I don't have... I literally don't have the steps to do that. I was thinking... Then get off and push this one, but then I still have this one here. Dang, okay. Okay. Doesn't help me. Nothing. Ugh, okay. We go... These ones are also one step away from a 1. So maybe it's make 3s and then push 1s. No. Let's skip that one. Okay. Alrighty, we have 4 4s, and we have to use 4s because one of them is iron. Oops. Well, not that. Okay, alright, these ones. This one, okay. I need 3 steps. Move, in theory, this guy here, and this guy here. I need 3 steps each. That's the only way I can actually think of to maneuver those dice closer. There's probably a different way to do it, because that only gives me 4 for this guy. It's the getting to the other dice, which is the weird part for this one. If instead I don't have to move all of them, if I just have to move 2 of them. I would have to move... I have to get onto this guy, move it into here, and then manage to... Not like that, but, you know, with all 4s. Okay. I'm trying to get a feel of where the dice have to be. Like that. Kinda almost did it. Oh, hey, Chammy. I mean, that's kind of your fault. I tell you when I stream. You're just the one that doesn't show up. Wait a minute. If I do this, then this... No. This feels good for, like, that 4, essentially. And if I do... Nah, dang it. Where were you shopping? Get anything interesting? Get anything for me? Dang. Oh no. What could you get to make her mad? Hmm. That'd be a funny surprise. I'm fine with it being a surprise. Let's see. Well, you've built it up now, so now I'm just going to dread next time you're over. I feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over in this one. Because it feels very close. But okay, let me skip that one as well. Oh! Now I'm on the ground. Interesting. This one seems easy now. It's just this. Why? Okay, whatever. Okay. So 5 steps. Oh, jeez. So everything has to be 1 step out, essentially. This one... Okay, that one is a 2 if I go to the right. If I go to the left, if I go up, down rather, and this one if I go up. That doesn't make any sense. I think this is fake. I think it's actually this. And then I push the ones. Alright. Okay, ooh, jeez, okay. I don't have many steps here, so it must be something like this. And then I just magically push this one over. Ugh, I miss you, Boombastic. Okay. Yeah, there's just... There we go, now it's the cross again. We did it. Okay, oh, okay. Sliding puzzles. 2 is first. So I have to do this like here. Move like that. That was basically all my moves. Jeez. Okay. If I, yes, I move it like this. I move this 3 before the 2's end. That way I can move this 3 here, Nah, dang it. Okay. Huh. Okay, that sounds about right. Whatever I did there. I just have to be faster and move the one quicker, I think. Oop, nah, wrong way. So, like this. No, because then I don't have anywhere for the one to be. I have to move the one into... I have to move the one into something that's falling down. That way it'll be destroyed. By doing it like this, maybe I don't do it like that then? Yeah. I can get rid of the one if I do that, but let's try to get rid of the one. Yeah, but now there's really not a place for the threes. Oh wait, I actually had it there. I just didn't didn't execute. Okay, so do that. Push this 3 as well. Push these, and then push this one. Okay, we got it. We got it. Ooh. Oh, dude, I hate looking at these ones. I hate this texture so much. Okay, 6 steps. That's basically nothing. So it's this, and then use these for ones. Okay. That was fine. Oh god. Okay, now they're all 6s. I have to do a 6 because of this guy. Okay, 12 steps. So this one goes like that. This one also does that. This one go here. That's here, and then like that, but they just don't connect yet. Yeah, this game's great. I love this game. It's very weird. I love it. How can you say no to Little Devil here? Little Devil, I trust with my life. So that was actually good. I just didn't connect them at the end. Will this just magically go in there? I need one more slot there. One more. Let's just move that one like that for now. These guys basically have to do this. So this is the guy that's messed up. I need to figure out how to get that one to be a 6 where the slot I'm standing now. So let's move these guys. We know that's like that. And that makes the most sense there. If we can get this to here as a 6, then we're good. I can get it to here as a 6. And then that means I won't have enough, whoops. I won't have enough, yeah. That'd take too many pushes here. Okay. Oof. This can also move one here. Ah. Nope. Okay. That feels right. Maybe it's something like this. It's just I'm one movement away of this being what I need to do. That's crazy. These guys minimum I have to move 4 times. Exactly, move them little dice. You figure this out. So this... There's no way to move this... Wait. I can move this 3 for that space there. And then... That gives me enough... That one extra step to put it there. Okay, there we go. Jesus. Okay. 5 with ice. 12 smooth. 12 steps. Okay. So I don't want to... I need to basically move this one to be a blocker. Unless I just move them all up. Would that be funny? That's just like, the solution is just whatever, who cares? Just imagine. Okay. Actually. Dang it. Dang it. Yeah, they're all spaced out perfectly, so I can't do anything like that. Which is a shame. If I move this one here, I can then do this. And then move it down to get this guy more to center. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. No, I have 5 steps left. That seems good, though. The idea. It felt like that was at the very least close. Eesh. Alright, tell us. Hope you get some good rest and feel better. Appreciate you coming by. There's the green block. That guy showed up. Can I do a ban? Oh, my thing isn't working. Oh well. Oh, it's not showing up on here because it's a suspicious user. Okay, I'm gonna ban the suspicious user. Anyway. Okay, we were saying move the green block to push that one down. And push. Okay, so like this. Push green block to push that one down, and then push the one by itself. I don't think so. This one move down will be 4 steps. Well, 1, 2, 3 steps here, and then I can't get this guy anywhere. I think I'd run out of steps if I did that. Ah. Oops. Maybe do this first. Yeah, the ice. If I push an ice block into another ice block, the momentum will continue to the one it touches. So the green one is the only one that can block it. Yeah, exactly. If I move this one maybe like that. And then move this up. There it is. Okay. Stage 100. Oh. Easy peeps. Okay. I feel like this one should be the last one I try. Oops. So let's go back and try some ones I missed. Surely I can do this one now. I think it's just something like this. Something like that. Not that at all. This? There it is. Okay, yeah, we got it. We got it. And I purposely did it only on the bottom here, so I could just do the exact same thing on this one. Okay. Jeez. Okay. 47's next. Oh, jeez. Wait, I didn't get... Oh, there it goes. I'll see. Where was my sound effect? Okay. 9 steps to get this all together. There it is. Okay. Sometimes you just need to look at it with fresh eyes. And still mess up. Ah, if I had one more step, I could do it that way. Okay. Oh. Oh wait, what if I just do it that way? Maybe not. Let's see. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever. That was not the intended solution, but I don't care. Uh, 52. With only 7 moves. Okay, so... Oh, 2 steps remaining on this one. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, clearly this is not all 5s then. Actually, no, it could all be all 5s. Because they're all moving down 1. With only 7 steps. Jeez. Maybe I do, instead of 5s, 2s and 1s. Yeah, maybe I can do 2s and 1s in this one. Let's see, to do that... Well, I got 2s and 1s, but I used all my steps. So that was not useful in the slightest. Okay, twos and ones strategy does seem interesting. Oh, like this. Oh, and then... Yeah, there it is. Nice. Alright, this one was... Wave the Jank. That's a pretty funny name. Okay. This one's interesting as well. Not that. No. So, yeah, it's 3 twos to start, so I feel I have to do one side first, and then I do the other side after that. I have to get one of these guys out. How do I do that? Keep that guy there. That will make it 2 if I just go down here. Dang it now. Ugh, no. Like that. And oh, I just okay. Fair enough. Honestly, I do want, if someone made like a hat of this guy, I'd wear it. Like a basically a Disney Mickey ears, but it's this little devil. That'd be rad. You make hats? You make horns? How do you should make this? Can I commission you to make a little devil hat? There it is. Okay, we're getting down to it. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. I have half an hour left before I have to leave. 5 minutes per. Can I do this? I don't think so. But it'd be nice if I could. No, it's this one again. Okay. Let's see, how does this one work again? I don't believe in me, so it helps if someone does. I'm really good at getting them all 5s, but they're never connected. Okay, let's see. Nowhere close, nowhere close. None of the dice were even connecting at that point. There. I think I do need to make a basically the shape. This feels like the shape. Because the other shape I was thinking was this, but that doesn't seem like it's gonna work. So like, do this here. Nope. I can't. That's here. Well. I need to get basically a 2 on this one. Okay. What can I do? This guy in the corner, if I move it down there, and then across and there, I can get it in the hole there. So I need to... I think that should be my first goal there. This can be a 5 there. Also be a 5 here. This can be a 5 there. So if I move this here, I can move this up here, and then there it is. Okay, we're good. Oops, I didn't mean to exit the whole thing, but... Hey, we had 2 seconds of a different song. That was nice. Okay. Oh, it was 78 anyway. Okay. Now, this one... I know I can do that, but I don't think I have enough steps for the next part. So how... This can be here. I have 3 more steps, so if I can move this guy like that as well, that will be it. If I just do this... Yeah, okay. Ooh. I just need to, like, think what I'm thinking out loud. Seems to be the strategy there. We have another... Okay. Let's see. Another... achievement for getting this one. Stage 80 with only 6 moves. Alright, this is... Oh god, this one with a hole there. Okay. I had a hard time with this one. So if it's only 6 moves, it's probably some 2s and 1s again. Doing the 4s doesn't make any sense if it's only if I can only do 6 moves. So that could be a 2 there. That can be a 2 this way. That doesn't make any sense. So 2 down there. Maybe 3s? Dang, if this hole wasn't here, I could have pushed that down to be a 3 there. Okay. Push this down. That could be our 2s there. Will this work? I will make a 2. Nope, no one. 2 there. No. I need to move this one across as well. Oh, that would make multiple 2s. But then this guy is just here. Dang it. Damn. I mean, that did look good. No, because okay, I was thinking maybe I can do that, but then move the 1 forward and back, then I'd run into this guy. Also, that's all my moves. I need 1 more move to do this, and yeah, I don't have it. Okay, let's go back to this one. It's kind of a weird one. I feel like I'm just going to spend all my time trying to figure that out. I have 4 more levels to do. I'd rather get these done. So I can, like, finish playing this game and be like, yeah, I did everything. At least everything I want to do. Okay. So, doing that, I can make it 2 go up there. Oh, there we go. Right, they wouldn't die. I just have to throw push it. That should not have taken me so long to do. This one... What did we do last time? It was like... Oh, it wasn't that. It was like... this? Yeah, we just didn't have enough... to do any further than that. No. This one's weird. I literally don't have enough. I have to get off the dice at some point because I don't have enough steps. But then I can't push these in any meaningful way, so... Push this one down? Oh, I can do this. Oh, okay, there it is. And then I get on top of here. Then move this down. Okay. Oof. Off and on, that's a weird one. Okay. What did I... Okay, so the idea is I only move 2 of these. Yeah, it was like... something like this. Was my idea. No. There? But then I can move the other one in it as well? No. That's a 3 instead of a 4, so if I can just, you know, maneuver the other way, if that makes sense. How'd I get there? 2? Can I get there as a 5? Like here? That's a 3. That ain't gonna do anything. Get there as a 3, and this is here. I could do that. I guess all 4s. Can I do that? Can I get 4 here? That'd be like this. There we go. Okay. Oof. Okay, it's literally just 100 and then the jankiness on 80. Let's try 80 a bit more. This jankiness in 80. Yeah, it clearly can't be 4s. So how else would I do this? Again, yeah, I'm thinking 2s and 1s. I did like how that other setup looked, it's just... Maybe I do a similar thing with what I did last time. So if I put 1 here... Oh, wait a minute. So that other one, I could go on here. Go on top of this. Oh, I need to get on top of that die. Is that even possible? I kind of did it in the previous one. Okay. Here's the trap. Get on top of this one. Yeah. Ah. Do that, but if I do it fast enough, it doesn't count as a movement. Okay, we got this. Ah. I don't know. I need to do it faster than that. Okay, sorry. Restart. I got this, it's just now executing. Dang it. This has to be the solution. There's a way to just basically like just very, very, very faintly. I don't think it's a glitch. I don't think it's intended, but I don't think it's a glitch. So it's like, there it is. Oh, and I moved the wrong way. I just have to be very, very careful with my movement here. Like that. And then there. Okay. Whew. Okay. So now it's the last stage. How? Okay. Everything just has to move very slightly. I only have enough steps to basically move everyone once. Like that, but then if that was like here, dang it. Well, I can move this one, so the only ones I can start to move is this down and here. Yeah, like, process elimination. There's so few movement options here that I'll eventually just stumble into it. So, let's do that. This one down. And then I have either left or right. Let's try there. This one doesn't seem like it's going to do anything, because yeah, this can't do anything here, so that's not useful. I don't think this really can move at all, because I get to a 1 here, but because I'm in the center of this row, this will have to go here anyway. That doesn't make any sense to move that. So let's eliminate that. So that makes more sense. This, there's no point moving it to the left because then it's stuck. So it has to go down. And then do I move ice up? I move ice? Okay, no. Similar situation where this can't really go anywhere else. Am I just going to like... Nah, whoops. Flip these around like this? Kinda? This does that. Then I do that here? No. This, then this. Yeah, moving ice doesn't make any sense either, but like... Maybe it is a situation where I'm like... kind of just doing this circle. Or like how those like sliding tile puzzles. So if I move this here... And if I just... Wait, yeah, if I just move these now... So I did this, then this, and I just move these guys around. Oh, I feel like I almost have it. Yeah, because if I move those two now with those 2 steps, I get it, but I ran out of steps. So that feels like the answer. So then this... And then I move this back. Then here. And this. No, that's the exact same thing I did last time. Dang it. That feels close. That feels close. Do, 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 do. Do. Back. This here. There. I need to get this one into the center. This feels like a good opener. Yes, but just don't do it in that order. So it's this, then this, then this. Move this back up. Do that. I was thinking like... Oh, because I'm so stranded there. Dang it. Maybe there's a... Am I going too fast here? I can do this first. Then this. That means when I move this here, I have the step. So there we go. Okay. Okay. We're done. We're done with the puzzle, finally. Oh my god. with 5 minutes to spare. This also unlocks random mode, which is 1,000 random puzzles, which I'm not going to do, weirdly enough. All the puzzles are 20 steps and 6 dice rather. So it's kind of fun as a novelty, but I ain't doing this. Anyway. Okay, we did it. Do a little trial for a cooldown. Because I don't think you've actually seen the main game of this. This is the actual main game. The puzzle mode is just meant to teach you how this works, essentially. So now that I know all the cool ways to move the dice, I should be really good at this. Spoiler, I'm not good at this. Can I get a combo going at least? Oops. How many twos can I combo here? Ah! Not many, as it turns out. Dang it. Alrighty, well, you know what? That's good enough for me. I haven't got the mastery for this game yet, because I have to get an absurd score in this mode to get the mastery. I'll probably do that on my own time. But I'm very glad I managed to get all the puzzles done. Those are fun. Whereas this mode terrifies me. Look at that. Look at that score. Yeah. Okay, another group of 60s going. Let's see. Ah, sheesh. There's some more. I'm running out of time. No. Ah, well. Yeah, that's the main game. And I'm very bad at it. Oop. Oh, I am double pressing. Why? There we go. I think I need to clean my, My controller's sticking a little, that sucks. Oh. Ah, but that is all the time I have for today. Yeah. Can I exit? That's not exit. Save data, there we go. Alrighty. Yeah, we did it. We beat the puzzle mode, thankfully. So that's nice. And I think that is going to be the end of Thigh Little. At least for the time being. You did help. You were moral support. I don't know what I'm going to stream next. I have a few ideas in mind. I think it might be another PS1 game. I'm looking at Bugs and Taz Time Busters, because that's another game I didn't beat as a kid. That's basically the theme of my streaming, is these cool games I had growing up. What if I actually beat them? So I think that'll be the next game, but I don't know for sure yet. I'm just glad I got this one done, because I love this game, and I wanted to show off. Well, that's why I'm streaming, because I have incentive to actually beat the games, you know? It's fun. But yeah, that is going to be the end of today's stream. Thank you all so much for coming along and watch me be really bad at puzzles. I will be back on Monday. We're back on Monday at 8 PM again. So hope you all can make it. And I'll probably say on my Blue Sky what I'm playing, but it's probably going to be some Looney Tunes thing, because I like Looney Tunes. If you didn't know from all the Space Jam stuff I do. Yes. Let's close this stream out. Thank you so much. Goodbye.